The current precedence of the NBA is that there are no dynasties in the league, and thus there is an opportunity for a new dynasty to emerge or for a gridlock era to take place, as it did in the mid-2000s after Kobe and Shaq split, allowing for a number of NBA teams to win it all in an unpredictable fashion. But let's not put the cart before the horse. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let's hone in on the specific matchup, the Dallas Mavericks versus the Boston Celtics. The Mavs have only faced the Heat in the finals before, but only one team is truly in the hot seat, and that is Boston. The Celtics indeed are in the hot seat far more than the Mavericks are, mainly in the sense that 1. Most of this core has been to the finals before in 2022. Yes, some pieces are different, but the top players are the same. And this time, the C's are facing an opponent who for the most part have never been to the finals, aside for Kyrie Irving. This doesn't mean the Mavs are complete underdogs, like how last season we had the 8th seeded Miami team go up against the Nuggets. The Mavericks indeed do have pressure to win it all too this year. Kyrie Irving is 32. As he gets older, he will be exiting his prime. He will still be a high-level player, but if we're talking absolute peak prime, from a physical standpoint, this is the part of the mountain where you are still pretty high, but you're definitely starting to descend lower. Also, how many times is Luka going to completely avoid the Nuggets on his path to the finals? Interestingly enough, Luka and Jokic have never faced in the postseason ever. Had this happened, who knows if the Mavericks would have made it this deep. Again, how many guarantees are we going to get where Luka avoids the Nuggets in the postseason? While the Mavericks certainly had a harder path to the finals, avoiding the Nuggets and getting the Wolves, despite what the matchups might tell you, was their preferred opponent. But more importantly, you can easily say the same, if not worse, for the Celtics. In each playoff round, they faced a heavily injured Eastern Conference opponent. They beat a Jimmy Butler-less Heat team, then a Cavs team without Jarrett Allen, and then that same Cavs team lost Donovan Mitchell towards the end of the series, and then they beat the Pacers with Tyrese having a hamstring injury that kept him out of Game 4. And even if the Pacers were healthy, that team was too inexperienced and just got done beating a heavily injured Knicks and Bucks team. When the Celtics and Mavericks faced off twice during the regular season, the Celtics won both games quite handily. You can argue that the Mavericks have the best player on the court out of everyone's roster, but they are top heavy. The Celtics are the far deeper team, but the Celtics also get passive at times. They are their own worst enemies. Of course, the regular season isn't always a good measuring stick for how they will perform in the finals, but it is something we can at least start with. It is fair to say that the Celtics have not been tested at all during this playoff run, which is why there's no excuse if they lose to their next opponent in the finals. In the same token, they can't choose their opponents. They came, they saw, they conquered and took care of business. But there's still one job left, the most important job, to beat their finals opponent. Speaking of opponents, both Kyrie Irving and Kristaps Porzingis will be facing their old team. Kyrie once played for the Celtics and there was drama there that ended it, and Kristaps once played for the Mavs and that didn't work out too well. Either player is going to get revenge on their former team. Except that's if Kristaps plays, because he already missed the playoffs so far due to injury. With Jaylen Brown winning the Larry Bird Eastern Conference Finals MVP award, if the Celtics win it all, this is an example that Finals MVP isn't necessarily a lock for Jayson Tatum. So if Brown wins Finals MVP as well, Jayson will still be looked at with some sort of asterisk on his career. Not that he should play selfishly either. I'm sure he would rather win a ring and not the Finals MVP than lead his team statistically but lose the series, but of course deep down I'm sure he would prefer both. And then there's the question on ESPN's mind. How would this 2024 NBA Finals impact LeBron's legacy? If Kyrie gets a second ring, he will prove that he can win a ring without the need of a point forward that has the body of a forward but the skill of a guard who averages nearly 27, 7, and 7 and can easily get triple doubles. Wait a minute. If Kyrie wins a ring, this is proof of why the Kyrie and LeBron duo worked and why the Kyrie and Kevin Durant duo did not work. Luka, like LeBron in many ways, is a versatile player who can both run the point and score if need be. While Kevin Durant is certainly talented, I don't think it'd be a good idea to run him at the point unless you really have no choice. Kyrie, for the most part of his career, did play point guard on paper, but he's more of an undersized shooting guard in terms of how he actually plays. And this is why the Luka and LeBron combo works better than the KD combo, because Luka and LeBron technically play point guard despite their height saying they should play forward. And of course, I'm speaking in terms of offense. Defense is a totally different situation, and the Celtics actually have an advantage here defensively, at least on paper. While Kyrie doesn't play defense consistently, when he does defend, he is pretty good at it, and we had seen him play amazing defense in the finals before. The Kyrie and Luka duo versus Jalen and Jayson duo is one thing, but there's another debate amongst duos, which is the most clutch duo of all time. Former Celtics legend Paul Pierce believes that Kyrie and Luka might not be the most clutch duo in NBA history, as he believes that the Paul Pierce and Ray Allen duo was much more clutch, which has nothing to do with this NBA Finals, only because I don't think anything will convince Paul otherwise, as that will be his opinion no matter what. Paul Pierce is the GOAT according to Paul Pierce. Bottom line though, here's what's at stake. If the Celtics lose this finals, the C in Celtics will stand for clowns, because there would be no excuse, especially with the highest paid player in the league on your roster, and your opponents being mostly nebulous to this stage of the postseason. Plus, you got home court advantage. The Celtics are the more rested team and are facing a team that could be physically burnt out going through 3 really tough series. But if they lose, while they'll be clowns, it wouldn't be frowning clowns. They will still be able to run it back next year, albeit with some slight changes. I don't think you blow up the whole roster, but again, they have a ton of pressure to win it now. Bottom line on what's at stake for the Mavericks: if the Mavericks lose this finals, the M in Mavericks will stand for maybe next year, but that's a big maybe. Going back to Kyrie's age, they better not waste this opportunity, because now is definitely better than later. Though Luka is only 25 and his true prime is expected to be around 28, which is 3 years from now, Kyrie's window is much smaller, and who are you going to replace Kyrie to pair Luka with? That's not an easy question, even though Luka is a great talent. Never say never, there could be some surprises. If the Mavs don't know how to get this thing done, Luka may want to leave the team. Again, this is way too early and essentially just a rumor at this point, but NBA lifers may be a thing of the past. Luka might not want to waste his prime playing for a mediocre team. Just look at what happened to Damian Lillard. He gave it his all wasn't enough, so he went to play Robin alongside Giannis, and Giannis was giving the Bucks some heavy words, or at the very least some heavy hints, suggesting that they better repair the franchise or he's up and out too. This series will set the tone for the future of the NBA. It would either symbolize that the Celtics are about to be the next dynasty, or it will symbolize that the age of the super team is gone, at least for the foreseeable future, and there would be an unpredictable wave on who will win the championship in the coming years. When everyone is stacked, no one is stacked, because at the end of the day, only one team wins, and it's all or nothing. So you let me know down below who you think is going to win this series and what the landscape of the NBA could look like in the future. Don't forget to dunk on that like button and subscribe with notifications turned on. I'm Rebound Rewind, and I'll fast forward to you later.